Honestly, it feels like Conqueror's blade is about to change significantly this time. The next season is going to be the Three Kingdoms season. On top of that, instead of just a regular season update, it seems like players will be able to go back and forth between the existing servers and the new Three Kingdoms server. This might actually be a massive experiment for Conqueror's blade. Hello everyone. In this video, I want to share my thoughts and analysis regarding the Three Kingdoms season. A promotional video for the upcoming season was released a short while ago, but it leaves us completely in the dark about the full picture. Therefore, in this video, I would like to speculate on what the next season will be like, based on the information that has already been made public. Let's get into it. Before analyzing the contents of the PV, let's take a look at the new season's FAQ published on the official website. A lot is written there, but since it is difficult to read and takes time to understand, I have summarized the contents into a simple diagram. Looking at the details, the traditional progression of unlocking new units by completing quests will remain the same in the new season. It appears that a new Three Kingdoms scenario server will be added, where a system will be put in place to ensure all players compete under the same conditions. Of course, since this is DLC content, participation is not mandatory. However, I personally feel that there will likely be three major changes coming in the future, which I would like to introduce. The first is the integration of territory wars. Currently, territory wars are conducted on a per-server basis, meaning they are not very active on low-population servers, and with fewer participants, they lack the excitement they used to have. Therefore, I believe that by merging servers and standardizing participation requirements, they are planning to build a system in the future that allows players to fight alongside people from other servers.
For now, information regarding territory wars on the new server has come out, so I'm sharing it here. And since territory war content alone might not be enough, they will probably also move Event All or Nothing to the new server as a permanent event battlefield. Of course, the goal here is to establish a party play environment where players from different servers can interact and play together. The second change is player segregation. In the current matchmaking system, players are likely evaluated based on their win rates and kill counts, which easily creates mixed battlefields containing both those who understand the basic rules and those who do not, often resulting in chaotic matches. Playing with people who do not grasp the basic rules is a miserable experience, which is why I barely play siege battles or Event All or Nothing myself anymore. I believe there is a considerable number of veteran players who feel the same way and have stopped playing, yet the developers have done absolutely nothing about it until now. On the other hand, many casual players possess a mysterious confidence that they can win if the battlefield conditions are equal, so it might be a good idea to guide them toward the new server to separate the player bases. As a result, it would be ideal if they could adjust the system so that players have more opportunities to fight against opponents of equal skill levels. While they say the new server is for progressing through the scenario, I hope it also serves as content that functions as a tutorial for those who do not understand the rules. The third change is server optimization. Currently, running territory war content on each individual server puts a heavy load on them, so I predict they are aiming to reduce the server burden by offloading heavy internal processing. While I have shared my speculations on the new season, it feels like there won't actually be many drastic changes. Personally, if they want to appeal to the existing player base, I think it would be fine to reuse existing maps, but introduce a mode with random unit pick restrictions, such as banning ranged units or cavalry altogether. Now, let's take a look at the PV and analyze it.
It is unclear what this scene indicates, but it is likely new content for the new server. Judging by the sheer number of units, it is probably PvE. The addition of a new weapon, the dual blades, has been confirmed. Since it failed to break the block of the tower shield units, it is likely a light or medium armor weapon. It appears there will be 2 new units, bowmen with fire arrows and infantry with shields. I doubt there will be any new 3-star units.
So I assume the next season would start from the 4-star battlefield phase as well, but then the official page updated its information on the new units. It's unclear whether we can actually do anything in the open world, but if they can't create compelling content, it's likely going to become dead content just like the existing servers.
The new content portion might actually be quite small. We should learn more during the PTR testing.
The developers keep focusing solely on attracting new and returning players, but there is almost no content within the game to help players grow from beginners to intermediates. Leaving everything up to official creators works for people who actively look for information on their own, but those who don't will just stay weak forever. Specifically, I want them to add more content that lets players learn while having fun. For example, they could make a part of the screen flash for players who forget to use trebuchets, or create a deathmatch event where everything is pitch black except for the minimap and the immediate area around the warlord to build the habit of checking the minimap. They could also make a battlefield mode that restricts ranged units to teach players how to micromanage melee units.
From here, let's move on to a tangent, but since I am sure many people are feeling a bit underwhelmed, I would like to compare this with the PV of Total War 3 Kingdoms, a rival game based on the same theme. Here it is.
In a momentary calm, blades are sworn together, vowing to bring about the restoration of peace and order. The year is 190, and the Han Empire falters on the brink of destruction. Brought low by corrupt eunuchs, and strong-armed by the despot Dong Zhuo. The fires of war erupt across a once peaceful realm. In the growing chaos, rebellions rise, and the Emperor's voice is drowned out by the tyrant's roar. The land suffers. Yet though they band together against a common foe, such a fragile alliance cannot hold forever.
To state my impressions briefly, it is incredibly good. I actually played the game myself but couldn't get into it. However, the PV is highly compelling and draws you in. While a highly polished PV for the new season has not been released yet, I hope they are making one if they want to attract people. Creating a PV that fosters a sense of immersion is crucial.